I'm Matt, and this is
Jimmy Diresta.
And we're building an electric go-kart. All right, so this is the first episode of a new series here at Spark, and it's going to be called After Hours Garage. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different projects, some of them related to Spark, some of them not related to Spark. This first episode is with Jimmy Diresta. Jimmy is a legendary figure of the whole maker community on YouTube, on Netflix, just about anywhere you can imagine. I'd say if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of the most influential makers on the internet right now, Jimmy would certainly be on there. I've been following along his channel since I was in college, and it's certainly impacted the way that I approach innovating and rapid prototyping. So it's a huge honor to be working on this project with him. And so let's start talking about it. This whole episode is going to be taking a frame that he developed here and adding this electric motor to it and hopefully get those wheels turning by the end of the episode. These are what are called the Hall sensors. So they're basically like little magnet sensors.
Or if you swap two of these, they'll go the opposite direction.
You can do that, yeah.
Is that the only way to turn it, or you can do that electronically too?
You can do it electronically.
Oh, because we need reverse.
So we can actually add a reverse button if you want.
Yeah. Stupid. Well.
Oh, I made a solid chain.
Oh. You could pull the axle all the way up.
I think you may have jinxed me with the table.
Is a magnet, did it fall in the water?
I have, it's a little clip
Oh, the
on
clip.
Side.
Same size, sure. Okay. Then we'll find the other one later by accident.
So after having a quick meeting about how everything worked and beginning to lay everything out, began fabricating a little bracket that would mount the motor. And so the idea was that bracket would hang the motor off the bottom, and then we would use a tensioning system to tighten it up. While he was doing that, I was just finishing up a lot of the electronics. I had preset them up and just needed to add some final pieces of wire to get everything to be the right length. You need a chair. Did some initial tests here just to see what it would be like to sit, make sure that motor wasn't in too dangerous of a spot. And also finally found out that those shocks were not doing too much, but it was going to work out. So going until about midnight, we decided to take a little break, check in on some turkeys, and make some dinner. While we ate dinner, we spoke about the design a little bit, and Jimmy began making some drafts for the brackets that would be made out of steel. And while he did that, I went back down to the barn and began working on a couple other little small things for the electronics.
Right, plasma cut something. I'll just cut out of cardboard to make sure it works.
That makes sense. So you drew this up just in your software. Not bad. And it was about, 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. We decided to call it a night and woke up the next morning early in Diresta's house. This house is so cool. It's an old boarding house that he's converted. Around the entire house are all of his creations. So it's fun to just kind of look at everything and see all the different things he's made over the years. My first objective in the morning was to go get some hardware. We just needed a couple of ways to mount this motor to the brackets that got plasma cut the night before. And while I did that, I screwed my finger up pretty bad and then drove out to the hardware store to get those bolts. All right, Jimmy, so what are we doing?
We are locking in the axle right now. We just put the motor mount on. We just temp welded it just to make sure. And you had this great idea to put these slots so that when the motor turns a little bit, we have some adjustment on the chain, and it worked perfectly. We made these up last night out of cardboard quickly. Yep. Drew them up in Illustrator once I confirmed the shape, and then we plasma cut them last night. Yep. And we're just installing them, the motor mount.
This is a big QS motor. It should peak a little over 10,000 watt. I don't think we're going to go that crazy because this is kind of a super lightweight little vehicle, but it's got a heavy duty 428 chain on it. And then the fun part from Spark's end is the fact that it's actually running the exact same harness as we run on the Brute and Javelin. So that's even going to include the whole lighting array. So we might put some headlights on here. I don't think it's going to need turn signals, but the brake signals, rear light, all that kind of stuff. So we basically have this high-powered go-kart that Jimmy's been working on for a while now, and I'm just here to electrify it. Oh yeah, so why are you building the go-kart?
Sorry about that. Oh, why am I building the go-kart? Every year, yes, for about the past, I think this is year number 7 coming up. I own a go-kart track down in town, and I open it up for everybody to come, bring something you've built. Bring a go-kart you've built. You could buy one if you don't have the time to build one. Come and hang out, have fun. It's free for anybody.
Yeah,
There's no real race, it's just hanging out and having fun.
Yeah, I remember last year you guys made 3 different boots?
Oh yeah, we made, so this year is sponsored by Carolina Shoes. Last year was sponsored by Carolina Shoes. And somebody at Carolina had the idea, they're like, why don't we make big giant boots? And so I made one, Derek from Malden made one, and Paul Jackman made one. And we had a lot of fun. So this year, I'm making a vintage race car. Yep. So like 1920s Speedster. And just inspired by pictures I found online of antique cars. And this year, I enlisted Matt to help me do the electric motor because I want to have reverse.
Yeah. Really reminds me of about 2 years ago. We were doing our Flat Out Friday race. So there was a race down in, well, not down, up in Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
And we drive all the way over there. It takes about like 20 hours or so. There's one thing called the goofball category. The first year we built this electric tandem bike that could go like 50 miles an hour. So 2 of us were on it. But 2 years ago, we built a go-kart and we put like a dining table on it.
All right.
And so while everybody...
Oh, I saw that.
Did you? Yeah.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, so while everybody was racing around, Taryn was sitting in one seat, my guy Teo was in the other seat, and I was between their legs, hidden by a curtain.
Driving?
Just driving around, and they were like eating like spaghetti.
I saw that.
She said yes. How's the dinner date? How's popcorn?
We met on Grindr and she said yes.
Let me first check the box before booking items.
That's a very good idea.
When they snap real easy, you know it's ready to go anyway.
Yeah.
Too overstretched.
So the rest of this afternoon was just spent figuring out how to mount the Fardriver controller, how to mount the seat, and how to mount that battery. We needed a way to make everything removable and have easy access to things. All right, I need a switch for reverse. So I think I might have to take one off my little mini prototype. I'd like to use one of those, but the wiring I already did took me 2 hours to do. I don't want to... Steel. So you can just like make quick shapes.
Yeah.
So before I came out, Alicia did a lot of this wiring for me. So we took our normal harness, made a couple different connections in there, and lengthened the wires because I wasn't sure how everything was going to line up, because we don't have a hand throttle, we have a foot throttle, which is kind of fun. And so Jimmy has been in the process of doing a lot of this. We've been trying to figure out how to mount this motor. Last night, this all got designed in CAD, laser cut at like 1 in the morning, tacked it on, got it all lined up, and it's working very well. This is going to be where the Fardriver lives, and then this is going to be where the battery lives. So got a few more things, and it's almost ready. Back one? Oh,
Which one?
this one right here.
Has to go back?
Just, nope, sorry.
This one.
This way. Yeah. No. Do you ever use like the UV setting glues?
Yeah, I have some of that from Total Boat.
Yeah, I haven't used it. I've been thinking about getting some.
There's a couple here.
I've been thinking about trying it because it'd be super handy. Just little bite pieces and things like that.
The only problem I found with it is if you use too much of it, it only cures what's on the outside of the glob.
Really?
So it still stays wet.
Okay, that's good to know. Very nice. And I'll tighten it down. Alrighty, so everything was looking very good. It was getting a little late on the day, and so we were going to take a quick break, and Jimmy wanted to show me around the rest of his town and the various operations he had set up.
1 o'clock, when I get something to eat? That safe showed up and I was playing with the safe. And I was sitting there trying to figure out a couple of combinations.
Yeah.
And both turkeys came up and sat on either side.
That's so funny.
This is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can tell by her toes which one is the one.
Yeah.
No matter where I am in the yard, eventually she walks over and starts hanging out with me.
That's so. First place was the 10,000 square foot operation down the road where all of these, 100-year-old machines are, between his license plate press, his large bandsaw, and all these other things. It's where a lot of the ice picks are made and a few of the other tools he sells. Yep. And then you can paint it, enamel it or something.
Cheers.
Thanks, man. That's fun. So it's basically just a secondary facility for using the big bandsaw. This bandsaw is so insane, dude.
That was 135 years ago.
Oh my god.
They overbuilt everything. Good old newspaper press. You ink the board. And then you bring this in like this. And then you pull the lever. And you ink your board, and that's it. And that's how. Believe it or not, this is it. Everything is polished on here. Yep. This is all getting moved into that room because we're going to turn this into a car mechanic shop. We're going to try and put a car lift in here. This is to put, so we just go chunk. That puts the squish in the tube right here. You see how the tube is all squished? That puts the squish at the top of the tube. Next up was the actual go-kart track, so it's not cleaned up yet, but it will be for the race. There's 2 acres. I bought it from the family that owns the Blackthorn.
Here's the boot. Yeah, dude, if this got to Flat Out Friday, people would really like it. You'd be in good company. And inside the building where the go-kart track is the entire printing setup. So these are all these vintage printing machines. And then in classic fashion, on the way out, there was a random dude who had a broken down car. And so Jimmy and I gave this guy a push start. Oh, it's close. Keep going down that hill. Then after some lunch, we went back to the shop and finished up those mounts. All right, I think we are just about done. Let's
Taking it as far as we can in these like 24-hour periods.
Yeah, we were up till, I don't know, about 1 a.m. last night doing stuff. I honestly am blown away about the progress that we got done. But let's take a closer look. Jimmy just gets splinters. Oh,
I got it.
you got another one?
I got it. The end of it was still in there.
Nice. Here it is. Here is the, I was going to say Frankenstein, but it's honestly very nice and tidy and organized. I'm amazed. Usually it's like a total rat's nest for these projects, but not this one.
Is this like a full power? So can I turn that off?
Yes, you can.
I'm pushing that off. So
Yep.
now we're disconnected.
So, yeah, that little green light, it will fade away over time.
Right. And how will I know that this needs to be recharged?
So I do have a charger. I'll get that for you.
That'll give you like an indication when you plug it in.
Yeah, when you plug it in, it will turn red.
Yeah.
That app will also show you
Right.
your voltage and stuff like that.
Okay.
So this is running the Javelin and Brute wiring harness. It's got the lighting system on there too. We just don't have the lighting going. It's going to take a little bit more time. But, you know, normal Fardriver controller, same deal. This is a Brute battery. That's a 72 volt to 30 amp hour. So he'll actually be able to ride, I don't know, pretty decent amount of time. And then this QS motor is something I have never used before. So this was kind of a new experience for me.
That's a little bigger than typical.
It's a little bigger than typical. Yep. And it's what we would call a mid-drive system. So it's running a big 428 chain. And Jimmy set this whole system up so that one wheel is like a slip wheel. Is
Yeah,
it
so I
this
could
wheel?
turn.
Yeah.
If I made them both locked, well, we're going to get the rear wheels. I'll be able to use the hubs
Yeah.
for a rear wheel. But if I lock them both in to make it turn, one wheel will always have to drag. So
Right. So really,
driving in four-wheel drives.
yeah. So one wheel is driven, the other wheel is not. So I guess if we do burnouts, it's going to be turning.
Got the high school parking lot.
Yeah. But theoretically, you know, I could push maybe 20, 25 horsepower out of this thing, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do probably about 10 horsepower. That's going to be plenty for what he wants to do. If we really want to push big power out of it, we could change the battery out, but this is more than enough. Let's take a quick look at how that runs here. Can I give you that? All right, so first off, if you can see it, so we got forwards, reverse, forwards.
Let me get over here.
Ready?
Yep.
Forward, reverse. So that way you don't have to get out of the thing to push it. And then we got mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3. So I'm hoping I told Jimmy 40 miles an hour would be good. You don't have any suspension on the thing. And it's going to be on this gnarly kind of paved track.
Track is old.
I think that was a very solid 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
You happy with the progress?
Yeah, it's great. All right. I will see you in the next one. So this is how it always goes. We just say we're done, and now Jimmy's like, actually, I got
One more thing.
one more thing. What are we going to try to fix now right before?
A whole bunch of batteries for it because I thought that's what it needed.
Yep.
And then I put new batteries in it, tried to charge it. It didn't take a charge. I called the golf cart place, and they just kept telling me, oh, this is not a good day. It's not a good week. And then it's been sitting here the whole summer,
Yep.
the whole winter. And you might look at it in 2 seconds and go, hey, what are you doing here? This is the right thing. So I bought these 3 batteries. They were about $200 a piece.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why it won't take a charge. But there's a lot to look at here. And I should have disconnected the batteries in the beginning of the winter. I wasn't thinking.
Oh